Hey guys, welcome back to
Real Scenario. Ooh, Dre, you was a little high on that one.
My voice satellite. Ooh, we hit that.
We did every time.
Every time.
Every time.
Welcome back, friend. We are back with Real Love Scenario. Shout out to the real lovers out there. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Somebody just asked, where can you review? It's on all the podcast apps. You can do it on Spotify. You can do it on Apple. And then you can leave a comment under the video too. So we appreciate it.
Do all of those things. Do every single one of them. Just the total time will probably be like 10 minutes.
For
total
sure.
time on all three things.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Thank you. Have you melted yet this summer?
Oh, yes. I actually melted intentionally on Sunday.
Okay.
Hung out with the girls at the pool and baked a bit. So I got my second tan of the season. I'm trying to get like probably a shade and a half darker.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I like to get chocolate.
Got you.
Skin just pops better. But you also have to be like safe, because I know there's just this urban legend and myth that
black
like
people can't get sunburn,
or that we can't get skin cancer, any of these things. These things are not true. We can.
Yes, we can.
So make sure you wear your sunscreen. I definitely had on plenty and reapplied many times. But yes, I love to tan. So yes, I've melted. How about you?
For sure. For sure. I was in Atlanta this weekend at David Shan's podcast summit. That was really cool. Shout out to David allowing me the opportunity to be there. And to speak at this and at the summit. Yeah, it was really cool though, because I met some people who were like really fans of our show, and that was always dope. We love that, to be in that space. Yeah. And it was funny because I can't remember her name, Ashanti. I want to say. Yeah, because I was like, did you find your Nelly? And she was like, I just let go of my Nelly. I was like, he might spin the block though.
Give it a little 10 years. Give it 10 years.
Might do that.
Maybe coming back with a baby in a ring. You never know.
You never know. But she was like, I was listening to the show that one time where you was like, if you working out or you driving, and she was like, I was working out when you said that. And I was like, that was dope.
That was funny.
But yeah, being in Atlanta for that was cool, but it was hot. It was hot in the A. And
like 90s hot?
Like 90, mid 90s. Felt like it was a little hotter than that.
Yeah.
But shout out to the South. Praying for all those people in like Houston and stuff like that who are dealing with that like outage and hurricane.
Also to the Caribbean, to Jamaica. I think Grenada was hit with the hurricanes recently too. Some fatalities and all. So prayers for sure. It's that wild season. Just it is crazy. Well, speaking of shout outs really quick, I want to give a shout out to Kat, who is a new listener. I met her at a restaurant and she overheard I was just talking about the show and like talking about prepping for, I think, a scenario. And she was like, I don't mean, she was a bartender. She's like, I don't mean to intrude, but what you talking about? And when I told her, she's like, oh my gosh, I love it. And she looked it up and followed it immediately. So
awesome.
Shout out to you, Kat. Thank you so much. Everything was great. And I hope you're enjoying the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
You ready for our update? We don't have a review this time. We have an update.
Yes, because this update, I said I love updates and we don't get them. And I feel like she heard my cry and sent an update. So this is from the episode that aired on July 4th, which was essentially about managing the difficulties of financial struggles in a relationship when you feel like you're carrying all the weight.
Yes.
And we gave her some really good spirited advice.
Yes, we did.
And she wanted to clarify some things. So her update says that they've had multiple conversations, and I've done the I'll hold down the fort while you go through school. And this is where the 2 steps forward and 10 step back comes in. I support and help with the process, but then I end up holding it down with no end in sight because school wasn't really attempted. So because of that, I'm left doing 90% of everything. The initial conversation was 50-50 before we got serious, and it's the reason I thought things would be different. I've been patient, and I just expect what was discussed. Right on. Everything was put on the table. No stone was left unturned, but now her communication is just answering my questions rather than expressing important information and sharing her feelings. I don't always know what to ask, so we end up at odds because of it. I don't assume. I go with what's told to me, and I expect that. I appreciate your perspectives on my scenarios so much. Well, you're welcome. And, I feel like while this is an update, it just still feels like you're stuck in that situation.
So, Rhonda, at the end of it,
yeah,
I gave 2 options. I said you need to change your perspective or your person. You still with person?
For sure. For sure. I'm not changing that. I'm not changing that. Especially now that I know they had conversations about it. They did actually talk about all of these things, and a commitment to 50-50 was made. You can only go off of what someone is telling you, especially because you're taking a risk moving in with someone. So when they turn around in that first month and baby, I've been there. You don't have your half or you don't have your portion. And I'm like, well, what's we supposed to do?
What we doing here?
Yeah, what we doing here? So I think it's the person.
Yeah. And sometimes absence is the largest or best driver for change. If you've had conversations and that person has not changed, that sometimes you leaving that situation, if there is anything that might prompt a change, that is the best thing to do it.
Yeah, you're so right. So appreciate the update, girlfriend, and not to sound old, but drop that 0, get you a hero.
No 0 to hero.
Yes. But thank you. We appreciate you.
We appreciate it. Are you ready for our real life love scenario?
Yes, I am.
Do you want me to kind of explain it?
Yes.
I know you're okay.
Yes, I do, and I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about it.
Okay, so this was I heard this in a conversation I was having with somebody in Atlanta. Shout out to Odysseus, and he was referencing the Joe Budden podcast, and you said that you watched this episode.
Yes,
but basically,
I do watch the Joe Budden podcast.
Yes, you do. Basically, the question was, if you as a man have a homegirl, and you saw your homegirl's man out with another woman, is it right to tell your homegirl what you saw? Is that breaking guy code?
Right.
And you said in the episode, they were like, as a man, you can't do that.
Yes. Like the guy was, Ish was like, I'm a man first. Like, I can't do that. And she's like, but you're my friend. This is Melissa, because that was the situation. Melissa Ford is like, but we're friends. And he was like, yeah, but I'm a man first. Yeah. He very much felt that was just the fabric of a man, that men don't tell on men. And I just was like, what?
Yeah. So I can give you my thoughts.
Yes, let's hear it.
I don't think it's right. If that's your homegirl,
yes,
you definitely gotta say something.
Yes.
You for sure gotta say something.
Of course you do.
But how I would tell my homegirl would be different if I saw my man's, like one of my boys, girl out with another dude.
Okay. Why? Okay. What do I want to know first? Why would it be different, or how would it be? So in the first scenario,
yes,
homegirl's man is out with another woman. What do you say to her?
Hey, I saw your man out at blah, blah, blah on this day. Hey, I saw your man at the bar at Fridays at the bar on this day, whatever. I would probably also in this scenario go up, hey, what's going on? Like, good to see you, blah, blah, blah. You could read people's faces and like they feel like they got caught. But I would just tell you essentially that I saw your man's out at a restaurant or at a bar.
Okay. So basically you wouldn't put any stank on it. You wouldn't be like, I don't know, it looked a little...
I would just tell you that I saw it, and I know that you know where he was supposed to be, what was told.
Okay.
You might follow up. Oh, who was he with? And then I'll answer truthfully.
Okay.
Now, if it was my homeboy,
yes, let's hear it.
I'll be like, bruh, hey, listen, man,
she a hoe.
I don't know what y'all got going on, but she was with dude. I don't know what, like, you might need to check that out.
Yeah.
I don't know who dude is with. And then when I walked up to her and said, what's up? She looked mad, like she got caught.
Wow. So even if you walked up to the homegirl, to the man of the homegirl and said hi, you wouldn't even mention that part to your homegirl. That like, I went up and said hi and it just explained how that interaction went. Would you mention that part at all?
Yeah, but I don't think I would like go with like the it's automatically something wrong type thing.
Okay.
I would let you know that I saw the person out
Okay.
And if there's some untruthfulness there, then I'm sure it will be discovered in that way.
Yeah.
But with my mans, it's like I gotta be like, bro.
And it feels like that's your part of bro code, is that you are gonna lean more into like, you need to check this out. And maybe it's also because women jump to conclusions. Women in general, generally speaking, we can very much take one thing. Yeah, and we gonna be like, call the dogs, girl, get the group chat. What? Dre called me and just said he saw my man out with on this day that he told me he was blah blah blah. Oh yeah, where we go? They was at what restaurant? I'm calling the restaurant. Hey, I'm calling from the police department. We need to get camera footage of a crime that we think happened at that bar that day. Gentleman was wearing a green shirt. It was around 7 p.m. on Wednesday, July 3rd. And yeah, we can stop by and grab the video in maybe an hour. So, like, women are going to go nuts.
For sure.
Yes.
Have you seen that video on Instagram where the dude, they say he caught his man's like girl out with another dude?
No.
They was like at a game and the guy was like looking and then he looked back and he was like, and she was just like, y'all listening can't see me, but she was like turning like he was the seat right in front of her. He looking back at her like, oh, wow. And she just like looking away. And it's like,
No, I did not see that. I think for me, I would tell them both in the same fashion. I would do what you said you did, though. If I was close enough to go up and say hi, I would, because I do want to see how that goes.
Women are different.
Yeah.
I explained this when we were having the discussion. I was like, y'all would do it differently too. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you caught your homegirl's dude out, mm-hmm. I feel like you would respond differently if it was the other way around. I feel like, because y'all funny. Y'all mm-hmm. go out, oh my gosh, who is this?
Right.
It is so nice to meet you. Yep. Have you met?
Yeah, this is tell give her my love, kiss my boo for me. Yeah, like it's all the extras for sure.
Yeah, I'll do all the extras.
It's so hard that we together.
They said exactly that when I was talking. That's what y'all gonna do.
Girl, look who it is, and this is who you said this is your cousin. This is cousin.
You met her?
Ain't she cute? Yeah, crazy girl. Take the pictures right now. Take the photos. We're gonna look her up later on Instagram. Yeah,
y'all would act different than if it was your homeboy's girl. Then you wouldn't necessarily do it like that.
Yeah, no. I mean, this happened to me not long ago.
Lord.
I was at a spot. I will not say the spot because anything that I say could reveal the situation. So I was at a location. I saw my friend's person.
Okay.
Won't even reveal which way it went. I ain't even going there with genders. I saw my friend's person out with a person, and it looked like those people were on a date. Yeah, I wasn't even out the location. And this is a location where you just go and go. Like we weren't sitting. I wasn't at one table, they were at another. No, it's like a thing where you go in and you just get what you get and then you get out. I wasn't even out of the location. Hey. Just saw, and like it was kind of from a distance, so I couldn't do the whole introduction thing. And I was like, "Hey, just saw
your person
with a person of the opposite sex. Kind of looked cozy. Not sure though. Not sure if you knew about it. And it was very much like appreciate you letting me know. Definitely said they were going to get food." But did not say with anyone in particular. So I appreciate it. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I'm just here to be a good friend. And I'm here to do what I would expect done for me. Let's put it that way. That would be my expectation. Like, allow me to actually figure out that it's not a thing, because it could be your cousin. It really could be your cousin. It really could be your sister that I don't know. Yeah. Your partner knows that that's your sister, though. You know what I mean? Like, it could be all of those things, but better safe than sorry. That's all I got. And then, unlike you, I'm going to try not to put too much on it unless I see things, unless I catch you kissing, touching. At that point, I'm trying to secure the evidence.
Yeah.
Hold up. I see the camera right here. Okay. Yep. Kiss in the mouth. Grab the ass. Wow. Yeah. Like, I'm going to try to lock it in and then just leave it there.
But I feel like y'all as women, y'all, the way y'all go about it once you have the information is different too.
It's true.
Y'all send a message something like, oh, she's cute. You have that man looking around like,
yeah.
Is she here?
Yep.
Is she? Where is she at?
Exactly. Because it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Just to me, that's just the right thing to do. I get what the guys are saying. I do think it's probably more sensitive for y'all, but as my homeboy, please tell me
I'll
if
let
you
you
see my
know.
man out of pocket or what appears to be out of pocket. If it's not, that's fine. You gave me the heads up, and now I'll deal with it. Or tell you like, nah, it wasn't nothing. That was just his coworker. I knew that they were going to be together, whatever. Yeah, let me rule it out. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you know, because I don't want to be the friend that you found out that I didn't tell you, because then we have a whole nother problem with our friendship, and then I stuck up for somebody I don't even care about or really know necessarily.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be different if you were friends with both of us, or maybe you were really friends with him, and then I just became your homegirl because that's really your man.
Yeah, I get it. Different things.
Yeah, hold me down. Thank you, friend. All right, let's jump into our real love scenario. This week we hear from To Share or Not to Share, and he says, hey, I will be honest, I've only listened to one episode thanks to my homie. When I told him what I was going through, he suggested I share my story to see if I can get help. My wife and I have been married for 5 years, and we're both in our late 30s. We don't have any kids yet, but we've been trying. I've noticed she seemed really distant lately and not really being herself, but when I bring it up, she says she's okay and I don't need to worry. Well, last week I came home early from work, and when I walked in the house, I could hear her on the phone with her best friend saying she is so scared to talk to me about what she wants and needs. And eventually I heard her say she is scared I will leave her for wanting an open relationship, and she doesn't know how to tell me. My heart sank, and I ran into the room to tell her I heard everything. I can't even lie. Watching her tell me this and how sorry she says she was, it just made me cry. I couldn't even believe what I was hearing. I love this girl so much, and I'd do anything to make her happy, but I just don't know about this. I told her to give me some time to think about it, and a week later, we still haven't talked about it at all. We are like ships passing in the wind at this point. What am I supposed to do now? I'm hella lost. Damn, player.
Well, first, shout out to the homie for sharing the show.
Yeah, shout out to the homie.
Real lover.
See, good friends.
Good friends.
That's what good friends do. They put you on the good information.
Yes. but dang.
But damn.
I'm sorry.
Shout out to your homeboy for thinking that we can help you with this. This is a one.
Yes.
This is a one.
All right, Rhonda, where you want to start?
You know, I want to break down this a little slow, as in, let's not jump head into the open relationship piece of it.
Okay.
Because clearly that's the hook, line, and sinker.
That's
right?
deep waters. We walking in shallow side first.
Yes, please. Okay. Because I do think there is something to be said about changes in a relationship or changes within a marriage. Literally, you just shared that, you know, you have to leave room for changing your mind in a relationship, and like that can happen, and it's all about having progressive, open conversation and communication about those changes. So when we talk about changes, does a change in the actual relationship dynamic also fit under that conversation about changes? Not just like, I know you like my hair long, I want to get it short. That's a change, not used to it, but we could probably work through that as hair. But does changing the actual shape, if you will, of your relationship also fall in that like category?
Of changing
and being open to the thought that this change might be necessary.
Yeah, it's definitely part of changing a relationship, but the question comes, how do you avoid that thing? Or how do you plan for it? Or how do you forecast those possible changes? Some people would say it's very hard to do.
Yeah, I think it is.
I will say it is very hard to do. The thing that you try to do in relationships is try to find the foundational things in a person, the things that you feel like typically wouldn't change unless there was like a life-altering event. It's kind of like when you look at the house, when they talk about house built of straw, house built of, wood, or house built of stone, is that even if a storm comes, the big bad wolf blows the house down, that if it's a stone house, that those foundational things, because it's strong, won't change when different things occur.
Yeah.
So you try to forecast using that, but I mean, desires change, like what people perspectives change, I would say, situations change. And then all those things lead to shaping other things in a relationship that can make it hard to know for sure, can I plan for, somebody wanting an open relationship when at first 5 years ago they told me they just wanted me.
Yeah, it was just us at the altar.
Yeah, it was just us. And now, you want this person, this person, this person, and this person,
right,
possibly to be a part of this. I just think it's hard when it comes to changing relationships because, like I said, the forecasting thing is a challenge because you don't know. A lot of times when you're getting in a relationship, let's say somebody dates, they have the year and a half, they get engaged, they get married. Throughout that 3-year, 4-year period, you haven't experienced all the different things that your relationship will go through.
Right.
So it's hard to forecast what somebody might feel or how somebody might react if the dynamic changes.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like having like a very, don't you know those strong like Tupperware plastic things? Like the strong ones, like they good. They like, you can't bend them, you can't break them.
Yeah.
And in almost any setting, they're great. But if you put it in the oven that's on 475,
it's gonna melt.
It's gonna change.
Yes.
Right? Because it's in a different environment than what it previously was in.
Yeah. And
a lot of our relationships are like that, is that we operate from one state, but we don't really think about when in a different state, that factor, that thing that we thought it was, may melt away, may shift, may come deformed. I was talking to a girl about this 3 weeks ago. She met her husband. He was the breadwinner. As soon as that dynamic shift, the relationship shifted. They never experienced that before.
Right.
So now it's like that change.
How do we navigate
we navigate this change? Yeah. Because we haven't experienced it. So that's the hardest thing about that portion of relationships, is that those inevitable things, those things that you may not have forecasted or you may not have thought would come, under different environments, does this thing still hold? Because I think in every situation, even outside of relationships, if you change the environment for something, it's going to change.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, at least for me personally, I believe in exactly what you said about like keep being open to change, because it's going to happen. We're going to change probably every day. I mean, from the smallest of things, even how you might have drove somewhere. Sometimes you take a different, like it's small things, they change all the time. So I think you have to be open to it. I do though struggle with like changes that are so incredibly significant that they almost, like this change, like restructure the actual original commitment. So yes, I mean, at a baseline level, and we'll get into open relationships a little bit more, most people, when they hear that, you just think they just want to have sex with other people, right? But that is a major exchange if that's not something that you two are even interested in doing. Like you want this as well, or you arrive to it at the same time. Rarely do people get there at the same time while being in a monogamous situation. So for me, those changes would be just so much harder if you literally want to, like, again, I think about huge changes, like you want to open the relationship and now have additional partners, for me or for both of us, or like you want to change your gender, like that is a significant change, like that to me changes the commitment. I made a commitment to a man who looks like a man. If you now tell me, hey, I still want to be with you, I still want to be married to you, I still want us to have this relationship, it's just that now I want to become, I feel more naturally that I'm a woman, that would be very hard because that's not what I committed to. That's not what I originally signed up for. I think other than that, all of the things, yes, could move and shake, like where we live, what our diet choice. Like maybe today we're carnivores, but maybe in 5 years you might say we shouldn't entertain vegan lifestyle because it's healthier or whatever. Again, I can navigate that type of stuff, but massive change like that, it would be hard. And what I honestly thought about a lot when you were talking is that in addition to making room for things changing within the relationship, it's like sometimes you also have to make room for the fact that the relationship itself is going to change. Like the status of the relationship might change. You may have to shift out of the commitment, and now we're friends or we're exes. That's our new status because your change, while it might work for you and what you want, it doesn't work for me. And that will always just cause like clashes and difficulties. And like you talked about on a previous episode about how much you love making Bree happy. To me, that's really what relationships are. When you're running on all cylinders, that's really what they're rooted in. And so if we have this big looming thing that just doesn't make me happy, but it makes you happy, do I want to try to give it to you to make you happy? Yes, but not at my expense. So we both have to have a baseline of like joy and happiness out of these things that we're now doing and participating in.
Yeah, that's why I think the actions that you take in a relationship, the motives of why are so important. Because just like you said, I spoke about how I love to make Bree happy. Right there at that line, on the other side of that is resentment. Like it's right there that if I do too many things to make her happy, first I don't feel it reciprocated, or I feel like the things that I did to make her happy resulted in a negative result for me or for her. Then I can start to resent her for the things that I did positively for her.
Yes.
So that's one thing. And second thing to what you said too is that people don't understand every action has a consequence.
Everyone.
And I'll add, you can't control what the consequence is. Because that's the issue that people think. They think they measured it enough that if I do this, that these are the things that could happen. You don't know what's going to happen.
No clue.
So if you want to do something that changes the relationship, you have to understand that there's are consequences to that action. One being that they may not stay through the change.
That's correct.
Because one thing that we've talked about on this show and that we've seen through scenarios, and I know that we've all encountered it in our lives, is that you can't come to I don't care how messed up, whatever the situation is, you can't come into a relationship presenting a certain way, doing things a certain way, being a certain way, and then you want to change your course, even if it's for the better, and you want that person to just go along with the change when that's not what you presented in the beginning.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a change for the better, and you got to leave that person.
For sure.
And it may be good. Like you might have started off in an unhealthy, toxic situation and they accepted that. They kind of liked it because y'all were trauma bonding.
Say it.
But then you got to a better place. You're operating better. You're doing better. And you want to change for the better, but you got to say goodbye to them, and they may not come with that change.
That's it.
So it's just, you have to understand all your actions have consequences.
They do.
And part of what you said is the result is that everybody may not go with you with the change.
Yes,
it's not always room to go with me when I'm making this adjustment and making this shift.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it gets trickier, obviously, when you talk about the spirituality of vows and you think about for better or worse and how people really define what that is. And I think that is for the individuals to figure out, because I had a clip a long time ago about the vows are taken seriously as they should be, but I think sometimes there's just a too big of a brushstroke across them around what we consider worse. Like if you cannot flourish in a relationship consistently, not always, consistently and on average, is that really a relationship that you want to be in for the rest of your life? I don't think so. I really, really, really don't think so. So I think, can relationships survive major change? Sure. If all parties can get behind it and actually find peace, fulfillment, happiness, joy, something positive overall that they both get out of the situation, not just for the satisfaction of the other partner. It's a partnership for a reason. Let's jump into navigating difficult conversations, though, because I think, again, setting aside coming to your partner and saying, hey, I want to be with some other people. There are other difficult conversations that you have in your relationship. What have been some of your solid, proven, I know this works really well when I need to have a tough conversation with your wife?
First thing is patience. Rarely is anything an immediate emergency that you have to discuss in this moment right now when the thought comes to your head. So the best thing is just to wait. Because a lot of things you'll realize over time, not that big of a deal to you. It helps you gather your thoughts. It helps you act with tact and understand when the best time is to communicate this.
Yeah.
So that's one. Number two is just over time observing your partner to understand how they accept criticism. Yeah. You have to learn the ways that you tried to do it and it didn't work, and the ways that it has worked before or has worked in the past. A lot of times it's helpful to lead with your own things and your own issues, and not putting the blame on the person, especially like from the gate. Because if you do that from the gate, it's already in defensive position.
Yeah.
If you come with, because I don't care what's going on, there's always a part that everyone has to play. You could say like, I'm trying to do a better job at, listening and understanding and spending more time, and you can lead into what you're trying to do better and what you feel like you could be doing better to foster an environment for what you're ultimately looking for that person. So I think those are my main things that I try to figure out and use when I'm trying to navigate difficult conversations. But I have a question for you, especially with this scenario, which I find important or an interesting question when it comes to relationships, because I've dealt with these hard conversations before.
Yeah.
Do you, and I have a thought with this too, but do you feel like it's right to force your partner to prematurely share something that they tell you they're not ready to share? Even if you feel the vibe is off and something's bothering them?
No, I don't think it's right for you to force someone to prematurely share something, especially if they literally said, I'm not ready to share it. I'm not ready to talk about it. I don't think it's anything wrong with you doubling down on the ask. Like if you ask about it one time and they say, I'm not ready to share, and then you making a second attempt to maybe assure them that it's safe for them to share, that it's okay for them to share. Like, I really want to know because I can tell that things are off with you. I think it's okay to make a second attempt at it. But if they say, I'm just really not ready to share and I will share when I'm ready, I just think you have to lay off of it. It goes into the patience bucket. And all of us communicate, there are tons of communication styles, but all of us arrive to our decisions to share certain things at different times. Some people can just run it off and they're very direct and very blunt, and that doesn't mean they're mean, but they're just like, yeah, this and this, and I don't like that, and I do like this, and yes, I love you, and I wanted to work out, but blah, 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 blah. And other people are overthinkers. Like for me, I can be an overthinker because I am very cognizant of being understood. And so sometimes I overwork thoughts because when it comes out of my mouth, I really want you to understand what I'm saying.
And I'm not trying to offend you.
Yeah, and so sometimes I go nuts with that. Yeah, and so it could take hours, it could take days. And so for a person that's dating me, that could be hard because you want to know right now. I do think for me, when I think about navigating difficult conversations, one approach that has always worked pretty well for me is to lead with like the reminders of like, not so much that I love you, because I think that's just duh.
Yeah.
It's like, I am here for you, or I support you, or know that this is coming from like a good place. Like I am your person, like a reminder that I am probably the closest person to you. So know that it is coming from that place, not coming from a place to harm you. It's coming from a place of like extreme love, if you will, of like, I am like that for you. And so this comes from that place. And I also think stating what you want up front, and what you want, meaning, I want to talk about this, but I do want, when we finish having this conversation, for us to be in a better place. I want us to be on the same page. I want us to get better at having these types of conversations. Like, tell them what solution you already have in mind, and also just be open to, like you said, patience around. It may take time after you have that difficult conversation, present that difficult concept, or ask for an open relationship. It may take time for a person to like process that and sit with that. And you may not at the end get the, babe, this was great, I love you. They may really like walk away like, I still don't feel good. I'm glad we talked, but I don't feel good.
It's certain conversations, there is no I remember, I like when they talk about the present. It says, if it reaches my desk, is bad and worse. Like there is no one, everybody's going to be happy and one. No, there are certain conversations in a relationship to where it's like, I don't care how I word this, it's just not going to feel good.
It's not going to feel good.
It's not going to feel good.
It's really not.
But I also feel like as a partner, you owe it to that person to be that person for them. Like, if not you, then who else? Like
that part.
I love that you said that, because I have these conversations with my wife all the time. Like, especially when it's around like business, because we were in business together for so long, and she has like these ideas and things that she wants to do and things that are great. And then she talks to other people and people tell her how great they are. And sometimes a little disheartening when she comes to me, because I start to poke holes in it and ask questions, and I don't say how great it is or how amazing it is. But I'm like, those people don't like, they don't know. Like, I know you, and I care about you. My job is to poke holes. I ain't leaving. I'm here with you. I'm patching the holes. We
gonna get it done, but I just need to. We got to paint the whole picture.
Yeah, I got to paint the whole picture, and it's my job to be there to be like, well, why would you do this? You don't even like to do this, so why would you do that? Remember the last time you dealt with this and this and that? Like, that's my responsibility. And it's hard to have those conversations, because you want your person to just always be like, I'm your biggest fan. Like, I'll do anything. And it's like, no, like, I'm here to be that honest person. And those difficult conversations are hard sometimes. And I think, to the question I asked you too, it's like, you don't want to force people, because I know in this situation, the person who wrote in is just talking about like, I can sense it, and that's hard, right? When you can feel it. But a few things that in that situation that I learned help, because I tried to force the conversation, doesn't end up well, because you get a half-baked thought, and then it's not even how they truly feel, because a lot of times they're holding it off, sometimes because they're trying to work through how they feel or why they even feel that way. It's like real battle of emotions. Sometimes when I talk to Bree, she's like what was going on through my head at that time was like, I was extremely mad. I was resentful of you. But then I looked at my life and all the things you did, and I'm like, how could I feel this way? This person is amazing. Like, these are the conflicting thoughts. And if you're trying to get something from somebody mid that, who knows what you're going to get, because
you could get an eruption of like, well, since you want to know so bad, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And now we arguing because I flipped.
And it may not even be how I truly feel once I like thought about it and figured it out. But the thing that's helped me in those situations is first asking, like, was there anything that I did? You don't got to tell me what it is, but was there anything that I did? And is there anything that I can do in this moment to do better, make you feel better, anything like that? I'm not asking you to tell me, because you may not be ready to tell me, but I just need to make sure, because it may be me, it may not be me. You know, there may be something I could do to help you. Like, take something off your load, like take a load off of your plate, or something that I can do to help in this situation. But when somebody is like internally, I feel like you don't want, like, it's a good situation to be in when somebody is trying to really think about how they're going to share something with you. Because the people that don't care about you a lot of times will just say it,
throw it
raw,
in your face.
not care about your feelings, not care how it comes off. But if somebody's like meticulously like trying to figure out how to word it, they probably care. That's why they're trying to do it. They don't want to upset you. They don't want to, you know, make a fuss. They don't want to argue. They're trying to figure it out. So sometimes you got to give people that grace in that moment.
You do. And one thing I will say, because some of these concepts, I'm sure there are people that listen to, whether it's what we're saying now or other episodes, when we give you very practical things to apply, we recognize, because we've done it ourselves, that this might not be the first feeling that comes to you.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, it's not what feels natural to you to go and like not ask your person who seemingly is frustrated and upset and distant 100 times, why are you this way? We need to talk about it. It's natural for you to want them to tell it right now. It's natural for you to pressure them to do that. It's natural for you to want to know, is it me? What can I do? When can we talk? And all that's very natural. So yes, these are things that you have to put into practice because they are just healthier means of communication. Sometimes silence is an important part of communication because otherwise you, in that moment, you may be giving off rough communication, really tough communication, really mean, nasty communication that you got to apologize for because you didn't take the time to just sit and be quiet and sit with your thoughts, let them sit with their thoughts, take a walk. I have even like in the, not the middle of an argument, but knowing that things were tense in a relationship, like, I love you, like pushing through and trying to do the things that we would normally be doing. Like, okay, fine, things are tough right now. We're going to get to what that's all about. But like, I love you, or you look cute today. Like, even though I don't feel that naturally because I'm just really mad right now because I want to know what the hell is going on, I still want to continue to pour into the relationship so that I don't lose sight of the fact that like, this is not my enemy. We are just having a tough moment. We're not at odds technically. Like, you're still my person. That whole idea of don't go to sleep angry. Okay. It's not fully real to me. Like some nights, child, we going to sleep angry. But
back turned.
Yeah. But I'm going to, even in that moment before I turn my back to you, tell you I love you. I hope you get some good sleep tonight so we can talk about this tomorrow.
But the reason that's so important is like recently I've been watching a lot of World War II documentaries and I've been very interested in it. Because history repeats itself. It's all just studying human behavior.
Yeah.
And you'll learn a lot from that time. But the thing that is very interesting about that whole conflict and really goes into how we operate, especially from a military side today, is that with the introduction of the atomic bomb and nuclear weapons, that has been the largest fear in general. Nuclear war. Because now we're in a standpoint to where if another country launches theirs, we can get ours up in amount of time, and we know if theirs coming, we ended, and if we going in, you going in too.
Right.
So the issue is that one person launches, then the next person will launch, and it will be a nuclear war, and we all may not be here once it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And I say that to say is that in relationships, just knowing, even though there's conflict, it's not nuclear.
Right.
And that it's all not going to be over.
Yeah.
Means something. And it feels different. Like saying the I love yous and being, it lets me know, okay, although we're having a discussion, this isn't nuclear. This isn't blowing it all up to where there's no return.
Yeah.
At least I know like this is a conflict we're having, but this person still cares about me. This person still loves me. All right, we'll still figure out a way to work it out. Like that feels different in the argument.
Yeah.
When you feel like this is going off the edge and I don't know after this if there could, like, it feels a lot different.
It does, man. You'd be so surprised what like a quiet hug in the middle of what feels like a bit of a storm in your household can do. Now, listen, I'm not saying it works for everyone because some people like, I'm mad, don't touch me, I need to be in my corner. But sometimes that like, you just sit on the couch or watching TV, not talking because y'all kind of beefing and you just like,
I love that.
Yes, because it's like, I'm still here. We are still here. Those things are just reminders that like, I'm here and I'm going to be here and I'm going to be waiting for you to get on the other side of the conversation.
We've done that and it's so sweet.
It's like, it almost sometimes just melts you like, you know what? All right, let's talk about it because the other day when you said this, it hurt my feelings. Like I don't feel like that's, you soften it and that's what you want to be able to make your person melt, you know what I mean? Melt in the best ways, you know, like, so I love that. And I just don't think we implore enough of that because so many times when we're at difficulties, we want to be right instead of for the whole situation to be right. Okay, fine, I'm wrong. Can we get to the loving, please? I want to get on the other side of this. That's fine. I messed up. I apologize. I'll cook. What you need for me to make this right? You know what I mean? Because I just want the energy to be cleared.
Yeah.
And sometimes that does take you making those little steps for sure. All right, here we go. Let's get into the meat of this thing because I think for the most part, a lot of what we talked about could work if your person comes to ask you about an open relationship. But as a person who has experienced this,
yes, you have.
and Lord knows I have no real desire to fully walk back down the road of explaining that, because it was a wild time when I talked about it on this podcast
the
before.
internet's
the people on the internet just
Samuelites.
It ate me up, ate me alive. Okay, I'm thankful that things have slowed down because it was a long few months of just woo. It is harder to really come clean, if you will, and tell a person that you've been in a monogamous relationship with, I want to be open. When you hear open relationship, what do you hear? Like when someone says we're in an open relationship, what does that mean to you?
You want to have sex with other people?
Yeah, like me too. Like, and I think yes, people can explain it out that, and it doesn't always mean that. It can mean I just want to,
It's exactly what it means.
Yeah, like
to me, because sex is the only thing that when you say monogamy that you're saying you won't do. Like I said, people emotionally cheat. It may not be with a different partner, but they call their mom they call their sister, and that's still not seen as like, oh, you're emotionally with somebody else. But physically being with somebody else is really the only thing that everybody universally, if you're in a monogamous relationship, you cannot do that.
Yeah, and I think not to act like Jesus here, but as a man thinketh, so he does. And so while you may very well only be having an emotional connection or claiming that that's all you want when you say you want an open relationship, I'm not going to have sex with them. I think you're thinking about it. You're thinking about it. You may just be saying, I'm not going to do it. But it is a high thought. It is flirting. It comes with all of that energy. And honestly, why would you go to your partner and say, can we do this just for you to have emotional connections to someone else? Stop. Like let's just be honest about it. I feel so bad about this scenario though because of how he found out. Because she was trying. It felt like she was trying to get to the place to just tell him the right way. Like honestly, transparently, she was venting to her best friend about it. She clearly, it was weighing on her because he noticed the change in her energy around the house. And I just feel bad that like he stumbled into it, because when you hear your wife say she wants to be with someone else, I just don't think men can really handle that. Like most men, unless this man is a man who already also wants that. I think those are the only men who can handle that are like, that's cool because that's what I'm doing too. But even some of them can't handle it. They want an open relationship, as in polyamory, where it's just a single partner and I got it's a single man, I got 3 or 4 girls. Like that's cool, and y'all could probably sleep with each other, but we not bringing no other men into this dynamic. I find that so many more women seem to be open to like poly dynamics or open dynamics or consensual non-monogamy, whatever we call it. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think more men aren't into it?
Like both ways?
Yes, like they can do it and she can do it.
With men, it's a pride and ego thing.
Okay.
But then also, just as a man, I can speak for most men, and I ain't trying to be too graphic, but the thought or the idea of first, like, your woman's mouth being on another man and doing, like, giving and taking are two different things, right? And it's like, to think of this image in your mind of her being pleased by another man and her doing these things that you do when you're intimate to another man, it's hard to stomach. That just, it's like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I must be a little man then. I must got a little man in
me because it would not allow, like, just every time seeing that person, and then you're just gonna see it. You just gonna
like
see
from
it.
Best Man, how he kept, like, from the book, he just kept having the scene flash in his head.
It's like you can't. It's hard to. Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I couldn't do it either. And you know, really, really, really quickly, I explored it in a previous relationship. It did not go well. And the article that I read on women's health mag.com very specifically it was a therapist in there who said deciding to do this as a band-aid to fix your relationship is one of the worst things that you can do. And those situations are usually where open relationships fail the most. Now, listen, there's always exceptions. Someone out here is going to say making their relationship open saved their relationship. Good for you. But in my case, and in many cases, people see this as a way to hold on to the structure of a household, hold on to the structure of a family dynamic. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you own this house together. You don't necessarily want to change all of that just to go sleep with other people. But why I jokingly said I got a little man in me, because I feel the same way. I just can't fathom you being pleased or pleasing someone with my mouth, my stuff. That's my stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't. I can't, and if I could let you do that, either I have changed and evolved into some place in my life where I don't see that way, or I can't possibly really like you if I'm just okay with I'm sitting in the house or I'm out with a guy and we doing it, and I know that you're somewhere with a woman doing. I just can't. I don't even want to stomach the flirting that gets you to that place. Like the things that you're saying to each other, exchanging nudes before you're even doing any of these things. I'm just like, nah, bruh. I really couldn't handle it. I could not. And while I tried to explore it, it just didn't work. And it brings up, because I'm monogamous minded, it instantly brought up jealousy and just weirdness and like extreme questioning for him and I. Mm-hmm. Like, even when he knew that we have an agreement, I'm going to go do this. It was like I would come home and it was like, you were cheating. Like, that's how I would get treated. You know what I mean? Or I would come home and I would see things out of place and I'm like, was somebody in here? Did you have her in here? Like, it feels like you had her. You know what I mean? Like, it just puts you in that mindset. And so while I have nothing bad to say about people who can make this lifestyle work for them and these dynamics work for them, more power to you. But I just don't. If I married you and I just married you and we never ever talked about this type of thing, nah, baby, that's probably you go ahead on and have your open situation. I'm going to close the door on my side of it. I just couldn't handle it. So for the gentleman who wrote in, I empathize with you. I sympathize with you. This is your wife. And when you said, like, I will do anything to make this girl happy, I do think you guys obviously need to have the full real conversation about it, because you got to ask questions. Why? How long? What do you want to get out of this? Is it one-sided? Like, you want to be open, but not me. Like, you have to go through those exercises, but do not agree to do something if you really cannot find, as I said, joy, fulfillment, happiness. If you can't find it that it's for you as well, and you're just doing this because you would do anything for this girl because you love her so much, I would not suggest that you just jump into that, because it's going to totally make her happy but make you feel like crap.
You know what's one of the hardest things in relationships? Is somebody truly believing in feeling something.
Go ahead. I know what you're about to say.
That's not real.
Oof.
But in that moment, they don't understand it's not real, because that's what they're feeling at that time. I've been there in it, and I've been there on the other side of it, when they realize, oh, that thing I thought I wanted wasn't even that. It was really this. But when they were in it, they couldn't differentiate, and you couldn't tell them any different. It's almost like an exploration to try to get out. It's 10 different levers here. I'm just going to keep pulling one until one makes me feel better or gets me out this situation. And that's the tough thing, is that somebody's saying, oh, I want an open relationship. Why they may want that? Who knows? What that stems from? Who knows? I think a lot of times it's a dopamine hit, right? And some people get it in different ways. Some people go alcohol, some people go drugs, some people, anything that's giving me an excitement. a feeling of pleasure, making me feel good. It may not even be about the sex. It just may be the action of the chase, the feeling of being pursued. And that is the whole, that's what they're chasing after to get the dopamine hit. And then it may end in sex, but sex may not have been the ultimate thing. It's just wanting to feel attractive, having somebody wanting to come up to me and being interested. It's hard to meet somebody when they're in that space and try to level with them in that space because they just don't understand. So now you're left with trying to help them or trying to figure out. A lot of times it's nothing that you did. Sometimes they can be unhappy with their life, unhappy with their job, unhappy with, it's not even sexual. It's just they need a hit of something to make them feel good.
They need a stimulation, an entertaining moment. It could very well have nothing to do with you. And I can't say whether that's the case or not in this scenario, but
it's hard, ain't it?
Listen, it is that whole you think it's something and then you realize it's not what you thought it was, and then it's like, damn, wow, you know my life. What's up? Like, you trying to out me on this show? That's crazy. But yes, that is it's like a huge come to Jesus, because I think it sends you into like a tailspin of sorts of like, did I miss? Was I tripping? Was I here? Was I not present? Like I thought, and we did. And I remember that day we did have a conversation about that. So how the hell did we get here? It is so confusing. It's literally like throwing your brain into a washing machine. And you're like, I don't even know what to do with this, because I thought we were here and somehow you're not here and you're there. And I've got to figure out either how to get you back to where we were or get to where you are, or decide that we just on two different things.
My coach in high school said, a man that don't know what he don't know is a dangerous man.
Damn. That's good stuff, coach. That's good stuff,
coach. Man that don't know what he don't know is a dangerous man. If you know that you don't know something, you ain't gonna do no harm. Because you realize, hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure it out. But if you don't know what you do, and that's the situation we're talking about. You're in a situation where you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
So what you're feeling, you're just taking those feelings, those emotions as what they are in that moment. Like, you don't know that it's something else is putting the battery in those emotions back. You don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know.
And then what happens is it's like being hypnotized, and it's like, wake up. Then you'll look and see all the damage you caused once you actually woke up. And you're like, I did this? I thought I was.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's so many little parts of this story that is like, this could be 100 different things, man. Like, she could have been wanting this the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it also could have been, like you said, not knowing what he didn't know. And now it's like, surprise. What if she does say, I want this because, like, I do like our life and I do want to, and I mean, damn, I forgot about the part that they've been trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
Now you gonna have a co-daddy?
Yeah. And the thing that sucks in the situation I'm describing is that there's nothing you can do. Like, there is, if somebody's in that moment, that trans, that thinking they have to explore this, like, you trying to convince them that it doesn't make sense is not necessarily going to help. I've tried to talk somebody out of that mindset, that feeling, and it's like, no, it doesn't work, because they're so entrenched in thinking that this is the solution. They think they tried everything. They think that they, thought of everything they could do, and they think that this is the thing. And as an adult, have you ever been in a situation where somebody's telling you can't do something that you think will be better for you? It makes you want to do it even more.
Yeah, as a child and as an adult, that never goes away.
It never goes. It makes you. If somebody's like no, it makes you want to do it even more, because you feel like you're holding me back from. And then who are you to tell me what to do? And so I like you said, you empathize and sympathize
badly.
It is a tough situation to be in.
Yeah.
Because the reason why it's so hard, because I want to give you advice, and we always say have a conversation, but you have to understand that sometimes you may have that conversation and they're like, no matter what you say, It's just they're not going to level with you. And then it's very possible that a year down the road, they can come back to you and tell you, I made a huge mistake. What I did, what I thought it wasn't this. And that may be all truthful, but in this moment, there's no conversation that you're going to be able to have that will change their mind now. Yeah. Even though you know a year or two later, they probably going to come back and tell you they made a mistake. Now in this moment, though, it's hard. Like it's very hard. It's tough. So, I mean, the best thing I can say as an advice to this is to try to understand first the why. Like I said, the why may not even be real, but understand her thinking. Yeah. How did you get here? Why do you feel this way? Yeah. Was it something that, and ask and try to barter, try to ask for complete honesty. In this moment, I don't need you to protect my feelings, because I think that's just going to lead us down a road of still not understanding what the true issue is. Please be honest with me. Be safe with me. Don't. Yeah. But be honest with me, frame it in a way to where I can truly understand how you feel. Yeah. You may want to protect me and say it's not sexual. You know, if it is sexual, let me know what it truly is, so that we can, you know, get past this and get through this. And I think that, you know, through that, it may be therapy, having help that can help you get through this. Yep. Because a lot of times somebody that loves somebody, they don't want to see their other person hurt. So they do a lot of deep diving and exploring on why they feel something that could hurt their partner, or why they dislike something about their partner that they liked before, what sparked the change. Like they'll go in depth into like trying to discover why, because they don't want to feel this way, even though they do feel this way.
Yeah. And professionals really know the questions to ask and how to get you to think about a concept deeper, you know, where your partner may not understand how to push on those questions, or really you say you think this, well, why do you think that? And then you say why you think that. Well, like just being able to lay into it. I also think when you have a third party, you tend to be, or a stranger, if you will, because your doctor, you may know them, but you don't know them. You tend to be sometimes a bit more open to being very honest with them versus the person that you share a space, a home, and a marriage, and your life and your bed and everything with. So I definitely think you're right on that like a professional can help. And again, my man, like, you got to be really honest, obviously, with her too. Once you get the honesty from her around like, can this really be a thing? And maybe you'll learn something about open relationships that you didn't know. You know, I learned a lot during the time that we researched it before we made the decision. We studied it a lot, met with couples and all of that. You may learn something that makes you interested in at least trying it. Maybe it is a thing to say, like, we will see how it goes. We'll try it and we'll agree to do it for, it's just hypothetical. We'll agree to do it for 30 days and just see what that feels like. And then we'll talk about it and talk about not just what you enjoyed having sex with somebody else, because I'm sure you might enjoy that, but talk about the thoughts that Dre and I just talked about, where it's like, I didn't like how I thought during that time.
One thing I'm thinking, if I was in that situation, what I would probably say to that person is, okay, I heard how you feel. If I say no, what happens?
It's a great question.
Well, you're not even open to, I know I don't want it. I don't want to know or even think about you being with other people. Yeah. So if I say no, I don't want to have an open relationship, now where does your mind go here? Do you think we can't move forward? Is it, I'm just going to do it anyway? Like, because if those are the things, then we need to have a larger conversation, and this needs to shift to something completely different.
Change the relationship status.
Yes, this needs to shift to something completely different. But I need to know, if I say no,
what happens?
What happens?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a great question. So I feel like we've given you literal advice for every possible outcome. The outcome of you may want it after you learn more about it. The outcome is hard no, not going to do this. Outcome is I'm kind of torn and conflicted, and maybe we need to talk more about it and seek additional help. So Yeah, man. Tough situation. I hope that you all will find the space and the time to connect with each other on it, at least to get the conversations rolling, so you can figure out if this is gonna be your wife for the rest of your life.
For sure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely keep us posted. We would love an update and like give it some time. You know what I mean? I don't think you can write us in an update in like a week or so. Give it some time. Give us an update though, please and thank you. And if you want to write in, you know where to find us, relationshiprestored.com. Click the contact button. You can write into the show and tell us about your scenario. Hopefully you won't be dealing with this one. And if you want to follow us on social media, I'm at Ronnie Cakes.
As Dre Smith.
And at Relationship Restored. We'll see you next time.
See ya.